See, I told you we shouldn't have invited Dr. Horowitz to the pre-film party. I mean, it's just terrible.
I know.
It's just...
I know. The guys are drunk.
Oh, we're back.
You know, last week we brought you some clips from a local music program called Snot Tunes. We had such an amazing response to it, we thought that this week we'd show you a little more. So here's Omaha's own Sean O'Kelly in a clip from this week's Snot Tunes. Hey folks, this is Sean O'Kelly, and thanks for joining us on this week's Snout Tunes. You know, they recently opened up a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, but the station here is way too cheap to send us that far, so I thought I'd bring you a few pieces from my own personal memorabilia. Well, that, and we tried to get an interview for you this week, but for some reason nobody talked to us. Well, our first piece here is a guitar that was broken by none other than Pete Townshend. Now, a lot of people think Pete started the whole guitar bashing thing on stage, but it really happened backstage. When I was trying to get an interview, he smacked this sucker across the back of my head. Bill's still outstanding, Pete. We expect to check sometime soon. Our next piece is a beautiful acoustic guitar. Now, I picked this up at an IRS auction for $27. Used to belong to Willie Nelson. You know, Willie, pay those taxes and you'd still be making music. We're moving right along. This next piece, this is a bass that used to belong to Duff from Guns N' Roses. It's now mine. I was doing an interview with Duff, and they left the bus open, and, well, the bass just kind of seemed to fall into my hands. I really can't say much more about that because I understand the charges are still pending on that one. And our next piece is a beautiful Fender Stratocaster played by Omaha's own Bloody and the Whofish. Now, Bloody and I go way back. We went to high school together. But if you see him, don't tell him you've seen this guitar here, because I'm sure he thinks it's just lost in Omaha.
1, 2, 3, 4. Baby and I climbed into the truck. We were heading down Highway 29, going to see the Garth Brooks show. Gonna have ourselves a real good time. My girl was getting thirsty. You see, it was kind of hot, so I figured I'd pull it on over at the very next convenient spot. Well, we drove on another 42 miles till we saw this little old shack. Plenty of parking out in the front, but everybody's parked in the back. Well, I parked the truck and got on out, wandered up to that store. But all the windows were boarded up, and there was plywood on the door. Well, we walked on into that little old hut. It was just like day and night. Took 5 minutes for my eyes to adjust, and oh Lord, what a terrible sight. Turned around and said to my girl, let's put this place in our past. Walking right out that plywood door when she hollered out, not so fast. There were things on the counter and things on the floor, must have come from outer space. Lots of little toys for nasty girls and boys, scattered all around that place. Been on the road and I traveled a lot, from Omaha down to Dallas, but I never seen the likes of the things I saw down at Joe Bob's Pleasure Palace. Well, I turned to her so numb with shock as she took off like a coon dog on speed. Figured I'd just wait for her, so I picked up something to read. Opened up a copy of Outdoor Woman. Oh Lord, what a shock. Good God, what's she doing with that pistol? Dropped that book like a rock. Mavis was grabbing armloads of stuff. They were shape and size. She showed no signs of stopping by the look in her glazed over eyes. I could wrestle a steer to the dusty ground. I could go out hunting with my gun in hand. Work on my car, find the bar, and I sure can take my lumps. Stood in the face of danger before. Well, I beat it once, come back for more. But the day was found I couldn't hold my ground to a rubber thing with bumps. Well, I drug her to the counter and she paid for her stuff, and I pulled her out by force. She said, honey, now I got these toys, all I want's a divorce. Mavis thrust this thing in my face. It was short and fat and plaid. She said to me, does this look real? For a scale model, it ain't too bad. When we found that shack off the road, it really was just luck. But as we rode off into the sunset, I was glad we brought the truck. There were things on the counter and things on the floor, must have come from outer space. Lots Lots of little toys for nasty girls and boys, scattered all around that place. Been on the road and I traveled a lot, from Omaha down to Dallas. But I've never seen the likes of the things I saw down at Joe Bob's Pleasure Palace. Down at the Pleasure Palace. Yeehaw!
You know, I love that show.
I know what you mean. It's really good.
Make sure you tune in each and every week to Snout Tunes, and you'll know the difference between a perfect beard and a cheesy mustache.
It wasn't all that cheesy.
Look, will you just do your line and quit sulking?